Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration. One of the 5 men took out a black banner and threw it into the air. It spread out in the wind, covering the sky and the sun. There were many strange symbols printed on the long pan, and in the middle of these symbols, there was a strange and terrifying face sealed. The face was drawn with golden ink, and it was bright and intimidating, giving people a soul-shaking feeling. At this moment, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air and widened their eyes in horror. Everyone's hearts sank as soon as the image appeared. They immediately understood the identity of the 5 people. In the entire Western region, and even the realm of heavenly martial arts, there was no one who did not recognize this pattern. It was the Soul Devourer clan, one of the 7 superpowers. These 5 people were actually experts of the Soul Devourer clan. The faces of the 100 or so martial artists all turned pale. All of their previous resentment had been swept away, leaving only endless horror spreading in their hearts, as if the god of death had descended. The Soul Devourer clan was an extremely unique existence among the 7 great superforces, and they were also the most mysterious one. They had very little contact with the outside world, and it felt like they had escaped from the world. However, they were powerful and ruled the western region together with the Myriad Star Valley. In terms of influence and number of experts, perhaps the Myriad Stars Valley had the upper hand. But in terms of terror, the martial artists of the Heaven Martial Arts realm would rather face 10 experts from the Myriad Stars Valley than touch a single soul eater. This was because the secret technique of this abnormal race was to extract souls. And the most terrifying thing was that they didn't absorb the souls of the dead, but the souls of the living. Whether it was the souls of demon beasts or humans, they had taken the souls of tens of thousands of people. Originally, such a vicious and evil sect should have aroused public anger and been destroyed long ago. Furthermore, the sanctuary had indeed launched many attacks on the Soul Devourers for tens of thousands of years, especially during a large-scale expedition thousands of years ago, where the entire Soul Devourers were exterminated. Later, an expert of the Soul Devourers emerged and led the remaining forces in a counterattack, causing a bloody storm on the entire continent. In particular, the sect of the Master of the Holy Region at that time had been completely slaughtered and disappeared from the mainland. The Soul Devourers were now living in the spiritual mountains and rivers of that sect. It was also after that incident that the Soul Devourers began to restrain themselves. Even if they were extracting souls, they would do it in moderation to avoid causing excessive rage on the continent. He also became low-key and had very little contact with the outside sects. My lord. We don't have any grudges, so peace is the most important thing. Kong Wu looked at the long black silk fluttering in the air in fear. It turned the entire sky black and a terrifying aura spread across the ground. Even when he activated his domain, he could not stop the power from seeping in. As for the other martial artists, all of them were shivering in fear. Under the name of the Soul Devourer clan, they had already become cold before even fighting. Kong Wu, stop daydreaming. Hurry up and make your move. Zhou Chun was the first to realize what had happened. He roared, they want to use us to refine living goo. Everyone, let's attack together. I don't believe that 100 people can't kill those 5 bastards. A person's potential was endless when they were on the verge of death. With Zhou Chun taking the lead, everyone immediately came to their senses. They all took out their weapons and rushed forward with a roar. Soul Devourer bastard. I'll kill your entire family. Even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. As long as I'm still breathing, I'll kill my way into your Soul Devourer clan and exterminate you all. Kong Wu's face darkened in anger as well. He soared into the sky and unleashed his domain. Lightning and fire flickered in his hands as he prepared an extremely powerful move. The other martial honor also roared, and a big stick appeared in his hand. Circles of 5-colored energy spread out and smashed towards the 5 people. Everyone knew that this was a desperate battle. If they couldn't win, what awaited them would be a fate worse than death. Their souls would be extracted alive, and they would never be able to reincarnate. Very good, very good. All of you, get angry. One of them laughed happily and said, only an angry soul is the most powerful. Junior martial brothers, get ready. Later, if you're afraid that I can't refine so many fierce souls by myself, you can help me refine them together. Yes, senior brother Zhang Xiaotian. The other four responded, their eyes filled with cruel killing intent, revealing a ferocious look. 5-colored cloud stick. Lightning and fire shake the heavenly tribulation. Wang Lian sword art, chop. The 3 martial venerables attacked first. At this time, no one dared to hold back, and all of them attacked with their strongest attacks. Under the joint efforts of the 3 people, 3 overbearing forces directly shot down from the sky, rumbling and shaking away this strange environment. The rest of the 100 people were all inspired by the shock of these 3 forces. They roared and rushed forward. For a moment, the light was bright and the power was everywhere. Zhang Xiaotian's eyes were filled with excitement as he laughed. That's right, this is the attitude I want. He formed an incantation gesture with one hand, and his aura became stronger. It was as if he had sensed the black banner in the sky, and a power spread in this strange environment, causing negative effects on all the cultivators. It made everyone feel extremely depressed, as if they were in a steamer. The 4 junior brothers of the Soul Devourer clan behind him flew up one by one and swept toward the warriors, their faces full of ridicule. Zhang Xiaotian's other hand made a gesture in the air and an arc of light flashed through the air. It moved according to his thoughts as he softly said, freeze. The 3 powerful attacks became slow, and Zhou Chan and the other 2's bodies became sluggish. They were actually locked by the strange power and couldn't move. What's going on? Zhou Chen's face turned pale with fright. He saw 3 green beams of light slowly falling from the sky, enveloping the 3 of them. The feeling was very strange, and he felt his head start to feel dizzy. At this time, the 3 people's attacks also fell. A sharp light flashed in Zhang Xiaotian's eyes. His hands were in a strange color and he couldn't fight back. He roared with a ferocious face and a strong defense appeared around him. This was the greatest flaw of the Soul Devourer race's secret technique. When extracting a living soul, one had to be fully focused and unable to split their attention to fight the enemy. Boom. The attacks of the 3 martial venerables directly hit his defense, shaking out a powerful light. Zhang Xiaotian's eyes were cold and he stood there motionless. The 3 of them attacked with all their might, but they still couldn't break through his defense. Humph, a low-level martial honor is only at this level. He snorted contemptuously and his eyes turned cold. His hands began to form a spell and he chanted, twining silk soul thread, draw. Zhou Chen and the other 2 were shocked and a sense of loss welled up in their hearts. It was as if something was starting to leave them, but they couldn't catch it no matter how hard they tried. Their consciousness also disappeared with it. No. All of a sudden, Zhou Chen bit the tip of his tongue. His eyes turned red, and he used the last bit of his strength to roar, even if I have to die, I won't let you have your way. His sea of consciousness instantly regained its clarity, and his entire body suddenly swelled up. Vital qi gushed out from his dantian like an ocean, filling his entire body. He was actually going to self-destruct. You piece of trash. Zhang Xiaotian was shocked and angrily said, since I've captured you, you have to accept your fate. Qi of the living soul, suppress. The light beam that trapped Zhou Chun suddenly became twice as big and its color became brighter. It's useless. Even if a martial sovereign were to come, he would not be able to stop me from self-destructing. Bastards of the Soul Devourer clan, I'll definitely kill you all in my next life. Zhou Chun roared in despair. His body emitted a strong light and suddenly exploded. Boom. A huge explosion sounded in the air, and the green light pillar faded and disappeared. Zhang Xiaotian's eyes were full of haze as he gritted his teeth in hatred. Originally, Zhou Chen's soul was the strongest out of the 3. Now that it was lost, it made his heart ache. On the other hand, Kong Wu and the other martial honor did not have the slightest strength to resist. Their eyes gradually became unfocused, and their souls were being stripped away bit by bit, being absorbed into the strange face in the sky. At this moment, the 4 Soul Devourer clan disciples appeared in the sky like ghosts. They appeared in 4 different directions, and each of them performed an incantation gesture with cold expressions. A huge rune quickly appeared between the 4 of them and slowly pressed down. The hundreds of cultivators below were all shocked. Zhou Chen's self-destruction had caused their mood to sink to the bottom, but they were not willing to give up and surrender. One after another, they rushed into the sky and charged towards the base of the square formation. Although the 4 disciples had a proud expression on their faces, they were still terrified when they saw hundreds of people charging at them. They hurriedly poured all their power into the formation. As long as they maintained the power of the runes, it would be enough to suppress everyone. This talisman was also extracted from the soul-devouring banner and not by the 4 of them. If they just maintained it, even a low-level martial honor would find it difficult to break it. Not good, they're going to self-destruct their profound armaments. A few peak martial emperors had exploded the profound level weapons that they had refined with their minds in their despair. The power produced was not weaker than a martial honor's attack, and it shook the runes in the center. This gave everyone hope, and they all followed suit. Although profound level weapons were important, how could they be more important than one's life? For a moment, it was all the self-destruction of profound level weapons. An astonishing power rushed up from below, and the barrier set up by the 4 people began to collapse. Eldest senior brother, it's not good. The barrier is about to collapse. One of the junior brothers was panicking. Although he was also a 1-star martial supreme, the hundreds of martial artists who were fighting with their lives on the line and the ruthlessness of the self-destruction of their profound level weapons made him suck in a breath of cold air. He felt satisfied. Trash. You 4 revered martial artists can suppress them even without the barrier. Zhang Xiaotian was furious. His 4 junior brothers were all elite disciples of the sect. The Soul Devourer race rarely went out, and this was their first time going out. They basically had no actual combat experience. When they saw the other party's ruthlessness, they felt guilty. When the 4 junior brothers heard this, they calmed down. The power of the domain in their bodies spread out in the soul-devouring banner, overlapping layer by layer. As expected, the group of martial artists was suppressed again. This time, the 4 of them became even more arrogant. Each of them looked at the struggling martial artists and laughed cruelly. This was the first time they had fought against cultivators from outside the sect, so the pleasure of suppressing the other party in their domain was extremely pleasant. Especially those people's angry and ferocious faces, as well as their desperate and angry roars, were the same as the monster beasts they had extracted before, giving them a great sense of stimulation. The Soul Devourer clan's cultivation method had long made these people extremely cold-blooded and selfish. Soon, Zhang Xiaotian extracted the 2 souls and absorbed them into the soul-devouring banner. The 2 empty corpses fell from the sky. A junior brother looked at the hundreds of martial artists and sneered, "Stop shouting, it's your turn. It's an honor for you to be able to refine eldest senior brother's soul-devouring banner with your weak cultivation base. It's something worth showing off in your next life." Zhang Xiaotian looked at everyone coldly, as if he was looking at livestock. He said, "We've lost a martial supreme. It's not enough to make up for it with all of you." He cast an incantation seal, and the strange face in the sky began to come to life. Like a wisp of faint green smoke, it slowly descended from the sky, opened its big mouth, and actually went to eat the group of martial artists. All the martial artists were scared out of their wits. They had never even heard of such a situation, let alone seen it. However, under the domain of the 4 martial venerables, and with all his profound level weapons gone, he could not exert any strength. They could only watch helplessly as their companions were devoured one by one, and the end result was that they didn't even have a corpse. The air was filled with the cheerful laughter of his 4 junior brothers, and their laughter was creepy. Amidst the screams and curses, the hundreds of cultivators were swallowed by the strange face without any resistance, not even a bone being spat out. The 5 soul devourers seemed to be used to such a scene. None of them were moved, all of them sneering coldly. After the face devoured everyone, it began to twist as if it was full. It kept changing its shape, which was extremely strange. The four junior brothers all looked at the changes in the face in the sky with indescribable complicated expressions. Finally, after the face transformation was completed, the entire night shrank back into the long banner and returned to Zhang Xiaoyan's hand. Looking at the long banner, Zhang Xiaoyan's eyes were filled with excitement. The changes to the banner were beyond his expectations. Congratulations, eldest senior brother, for absorbing so many martial artists at once, including 2 martial honors. I'm afraid this soul-devouring banner isn't far from the 9th rank. One of the junior brothers said, his eyes filled with envy. There's no need to flatter me. Although Zhang Xiaoyan's face was full of pride, his heart was still happy. He snorted, there are still many experts in this demon plains. You can also take some of the living souls to refine your own soul-devouring banner. Another junior brother chuckled, it's better to follow eldest senior brother out. Staying in the sect all day long. Those demonic beasts are almost all killed. It's not as good as the outside, where I can use the soul fragments as soon as I come out. That's right. Zhang Xiaotian smugly laughed. Even if I find news of Noah's ship, I still have to refine my soul-devouring banner to grade 9 before going back. That junior brother was also extremely excited and offered a suggestion, there's a place called the Gentle Song Forest nearby. The most evil scoundrels in the world gather there, all of them killing without blinking. After we complete the sect's mission, why don't we go there? Oh. There's such a place? Zhang Xiaotian's face was solemn as he said, all right. As one of the 7 superpowers, the Soul Devourer clan has the duty to punish evil. The 5 of them were full of righteousness, wishing they could go to the Gentle Song Forest right now. With this soul-devouring flag, although it's not enough to deal with the world-destroying divine might just now, at least it has a few more guarantees. Let's hurry over now. The marks we placed on those people seem to have found their location. Just as the 5 soul devourers were about to fly into the distance, all sorts of noises suddenly came from beneath their feet. They were the 5-element spirit-devouring rats, and they began to emerge from the ground in a dense pack. What's going on? A junior brother revealed a look of disgust on his face and stomped down with one foot. With a boom, a wave of pressure spread out under his foot, instantly killing a large number. A bunch of disgusting things. He snorted in disgust. Senior brother, look, what's going on? There are more and more? Another junior brother looked in shock at the 5-element spirit-devouring rats that kept drilling out of the ground. They charged at them while chirping mindlessly, and he felt his scalp go numb. Zhang Xiaotian also didn't know what to do. Although he wasn't afraid of these rats, they were really disgusting and gave him goosebumps. God knows what these rats are doing. Ignore these dregs. He immediately flew up into the air and was about to fly into the distance. But suddenly, a junior martial brother cried out in shock, heavens, it actually flew up. 4 tiny wings of light appeared on the back of the 5-element spirit-devouring rats, and they rose into the air one by one. Soon, a large number of rats flew into the air, densely packed and overlapping, causing the 5 people's pores to open and their bodies to go numb. This rat can fly? Zhang Xiaotian's mind went blank, but he quickly realized the seriousness of the matter and said angrily, hurry up and open up a path. He first released his martial venerable domain, and all the rats were immediately suppressed in the air, squeaking and screaming. Then, he punched out, and a black light opened a path, turning a large number of spiritual rats into dust. The 5 of them turned into 5 beams of light and instantly broke through the encirclement of these spiritual rats, heading into the distance. However, they didn't relax for long. What made their hair stand on end was that on the ground of the demon land, a large number of spirit rats kept emerging. All of them flapped their 4 light wings and flew into the sky, chasing after them. Although their speed was not fast, more and more of them gathered together, forming a wall of spirit rats like a wave, pressing down on them with an overwhelming force. What's going on? The 5 of them were all dumbfounded. They trembled in fear and hurriedly flew forward. At that moment, not only the 5 members of the Soul Devourer clan, but all the other forces in the demon land were attacked by the 5-element spirit-devouring rats. Wherever humans appeared, spirit rats would appear and attack. Outside the Netherworld battleship of Empyrean 1 pavilion, there were also layers of spirit rats. Although there was a powerful barrier protecting the battleship, everyone was still shocked by the terrifying scene and their faces turned pale. What happened? These rats seem to have gone crazy. Qing Luo looked outside the barrier and saw the 5-element spirit-devouring rats gnawing at the barrier in a ferocious manner. She couldn't help but feel a chill in her heart. Most of the people on the warship were women, and they had a natural disgust and resistance to such things, not to mention that the entire warship was densely wrapped. As long as they opened their eyes, they would see fierce rats biting and tearing at them, and many female disciples covered their mouths in disgust. Shenli also felt more and more disgusted, and she said with sweat all over her body, "Lady Qing Luo, do we have enough primordial stones on the warship? If this barrier can't hold on to buy-in." Qing Luo shuddered. Although she wasn't afraid of these things, they were so numerous that they surrounded the entire battleship. She quickly sent someone down to check the remaining vitality stones and said to Shenli, "Go and find Li Yunxiao. He might have a way." Shenli turned around and was about to leave when she saw Yunxiao and Mu Wu standing on the deck, looking at the spirit rats around them with solemn expressions. "How's it going?" she asked hurriedly, feeling happy. Yunxiao frowned, shook his head, and said, "That seal is very strange. I can't see any clues. If I had the Emperor Qi of the 9 heavens, I could still suppress the seal by force. But now, I can't do anything about it. It seems that I have to find that great demon named Li." He was talking about the seal on Mu Wu's body. 2 hours were about to pass, and Mu Wu's face was filled with bitterness. He was about to return to him powerless state. Qing Luo's expression turned gloomy as well. The current situation was becoming more and more complicated. One more martial honor would mean many more opportunities. She had seen Mu Wu's power before. If she could break the seal, he would undoubtedly be a great help. "Do you know what's going on with these spirit rats?" Qing Luo looked at Yunxiao and asked. For some reason, she had a feeling that Yunxiao had an idea, and she trusted him very much. Yunxiao stared at it for a while, then frowned and said, "It seems that their divine senses are very clear, as if we killed their entire family. Their eyes are full of hatred and madness, and they want to tear us to pieces. We're in trouble now. On this demon land, the most terrifying things aren't the 8th grade 9-winged bird spirit snake or the soul-breaking type spinal bone, but these rats." Seeing that he had no idea, Qing Luo grew anxious and said, "Then what should we do now?" Yunxiao said, "Let's rush over first. We don't know how many spirit rats there are, and the worst thing is that we don't know the source of their madness. If it's only the sky, we'll be safe if we rush over." "That's right." Qing Luo's eyes lit up in agreement. She ordered, "Shenli, pass down my order immediately. Use the netherworld attack and kill a way out." A female disciple ran up in a hurry and said in a panic, "Lady Qing Luo, bad news. I'm afraid the remaining primordial stones will only be enough to maintain this barrier for an hour." "What?" Everyone's face changed, and they all turned pale. Qing Luo cursed, "How can you not bring enough primordial stones for such an important mission? As the warship's supervisor, you deserve to die." The female disciple's face turned pale. She gritted her teeth and said, "Lady Qing Luo, the warship's vitality stones are more than half of what they usually have. It's just that it took a lot of energy to travel through the void, and the attacks of these spirit rats are all pervasive, so the barrier is also greatly damaged." Qing Luo was infuriated. She wanted nothing more than to slap this disciple to death. Yunxiao stopped him and asked, "Wait. How long can it last if I use the netherworld strike to open a path again?"